Hey, my Young and the Restless fans. Yes, we have yet another episode to start off this week, and we got to talk about it. First, Phyllis and Stark decide to work together. Summer accuses Sally of using Nick as a shield against Adam, and Jack and Diane get engaged. Welcome back to CBS Soap Dish Recap, where we recap everything CBS Soaps, both the Young and the Restless and the Bold and the Beautiful. This is your Young and the Restless recap for March 6th, and without any further ado, let's talk about what went down today. So let's head over first to the Abbott cabin, where we see Diane doesn't think Jack's proposal is real. However, he does try to convince her that it is, and then he takes off and says he'll be right back. Then Diane flashes to meeting Jack again for the first time way back in LA, and how he told her he would never forgive her for ripping Kyle's heart out when she left. And then the other days when it was tough on her to wait for everyone to forgive her. So now over at the Grand Phoenix, we see Phyllis waking up in Jeremy Stark's room, and she's holding her head and remembers leaving the hotel and hearing her car. Now she's upset, not knowing exactly what happened. However, Jeremy tells her that he picked her up off the street after watching her stumble out of the hotel lobby. He decided to keep an eye on her, telling her that he saved her life and how she passed out in the midst of the street with cars coming back and forth. She was like, "Oh my God." I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but that's what he's saying. And he tells her that he handed the security tape so that it looks like she just fell. And he thinks that if it got out, people is going to talk about her. She says people always talk about her. He hasn't much leverage on her. She assumes that he is being threatening and coercing her into doing his bidding. But she said at this moment, she's not going to have it. Now we're over at Society, where we see Adam drinking alone, and remember how Sally is telling him not to check in, and Nick agreeing that he'll take care of whatever Sally needs. This is a whole mess. Anyway, guess who appears? Nick, and looking at the drink on the table. Then he had the nerve to say, "Look at that," twice in one day. Nick decides to sit and wait, even though he should have just kept going the other direction. But he wait for his takeout so he, of course, can discuss Sally's situation. Now, Nick thinks that his brother's in a tough spot and he sympathizes with him. Okay. However, we hear Adam thanks him. He scrunched his eyebrows because he knows the baby doesn't change anything between them. He's not looking to interfere with their relationship, but he does want to be a father to his child. Now, that makes Nick happy, but he claimed that he is not at all worried about his so-called relationship with Sally. His concern is for her well-being, and that she was feeling pressured by him and doesn't need the stress. Adam thinks that he's warning him to back off, but Nick was like, "Look, I'm not threatening you." Now he asked his brother to ask himself what Sally wants. Adam says that he didn't think he was capable of change, but Victor didn't agree, and that these last few months had a profound effect on him. How he had to deal with the consequences of his breakup with Sally and the job change and certain struggles a friend had. Of course, he's talking about Chelsea. He sees things in everyone, including his brother Nick, that made him want to rise to the occasion. And speaking of Sally, she decides that she want to play tiddlywinks with Summer to get a rise or reaction out of her over at Crimson Lights. Well, Sally is making all this small talk with Summer, who wants to discuss her dad. Now, she doesn't know what's going on between them, so Sally reveals that there's something that she should know, that she is pregnant, and Summer is shocked. And of course, Summer asks if she's pregnant with her sibling, and Sally says no, it's not his kid. And of course, Summer is looking kind of confused because at this point she only knows that Sally was dating her dad. She assures her that Adam was the father, as Sally explained that it was so-called goodbye sex. Nick is being supportive, and Summer thinks that she must have hurt him. Sally was like, "No, he was disappointed, but he's handling it." But they're not breaking up. Summer, I gotta give her props because she read her the riot act. She said, you know what, you being selfish and you using my dad as a shield to protect yourself from Adam. And of course, Sally disagreed about them having a deep connection and real feelings. However, Summer thinks Sally is only capable of being an agent of chaos by creating it, and her dad doesn't deserve any of it. Now we're back over at the Grand Phoenix, but in the lobby now. Well, Kyle runs into Billy. Now they discuss Jack and Diane's little romantic getaway, and that Diane moved in, and Billy was like, yeah, I heard about that. And how Jack is pretty excited and finds it crazy that they found each other after all these years. And he's happy for his brother. Kyle's glad since, not everyone else is thrilled. And he's worried that his mom will hurt his dad this time around. Now, she's trying to be a better person, and he doesn't doubt that she has feelings for him. And, Billy gets it because it's hard to get away from the past. And Bill also goes in to say Jill wasn't a maternal presence in his life either. He broke the record for being the youngest kid to be sent to go into boarding school. And she wasn't interested in being a mom, but he had an amazing father, and Kyle got it. Billy knows that he's protecting himself too. Now, Kyle finds this whole conversation weird since Billy usually isn't so open with him. Neither of the two of them are comfortable, so Kyle is ready to leave at this point. And Billy asks if he'll tell his dad that he's thinking about his proposal. So now back over at the Abbott cabin, we see Diane still waiting for Jack while she's flashing back to her relationship with Jack this time around and eventual forgiveness that he's given her. She receives a text from Stark that really had her shook. He tells her that she can't hide from him forever. And she is all up in arms as she clutches her cell phone. However, Jack returns with champagne and they toast to her new life and the changes that she brought to his. And he knows that they'll have a spectacular future. And then he gets down on one knee and proposes with a ring. And she loves him, calls him romantic. Nothing would make her happier, but she says she couldn't marry him. She says that it would not be fair to Jack or his family since she has a target on her back. However, Jack convinces her to marry him. Don't worry about it. I got you, he says, and put the ring on her finger. She says yes, and they kiss. And finally, we're back in Jeremy Stark's room where he puts his phone away and gets Phyllis some water. He suggests that she examines what brought her to this point. And of course, she balks at getting a lecture from a felon, and he shrugs. He knows what it's like to let things fester, and he was consumed with bitterness when he was first in prison. He turned this revenge into something else and thinks Phyllis should do the same by help bringing Diane down. And she was like, nah, I can't. It'll rock her world in a bad way. She'll lose everything. He was like, I think you already have. However, she gets her coat and says that she don't think his plan is going to work, but she'll give it some thought. And Jeremy hopes that she does since he hates her to lose out. And as soon as we thought Phyllis was just going to take the high road and do the right thing, well, she creeped out the elevator and run right into Billy in the lobby of the Grand Phoenix. And he asked how she is. She asked him to tell her where Jack is. Billy, please don't do this. But he did it. Billy says that he's on a romantic vacation with Diane, and she got this weird, creepy smile. Billy says things are rolling along for them, and then what happens later? She returns to Stark's room, tells him, you know what, your plan, I'm in. Okay, so there you have it, your Young and the Restless recap for Monday, March 6, 2023. Stay tuned for the bold and the beautiful recap also for today. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.